Hi Stampin' friends, tonight we're going to use the Amber Autumn Bundle and the Autumn Toile Designer Series paper. The paper is kind of different because it has 3 pieces of each sheet, and so that's better if you're going to make a lot of things with it. And then this is a really pretty stamp set that you can color with blends, or you can watercolor with the water painters and ink. Or it also has this beautiful die cut of leaves that you can use. This isn't actually the paper that comes with it. I already had so much copper, and this is the textured metallic 12 by 12 specialty paper. And so I used this one instead, and I think it's very beautiful. And you could use it a number of ways. And then I also have some designs for you to look at as well. So I'm not sure that there will be much stamping because I've already stamped several things. Here's our stamp set. I'm going to put it over on this side. This was a card that I did for an online swap of a technique where you cut, you split the frame basically. And what I colored with here was the blends. And when I colored this, I colored it to match this particular designer series paper as best I could. I did go ahead and they just made this gourd lighter, and I made it slightly more yellow in the orange. So that was my goal there. Now these streaked dots are also part of that same suite. And then this has like a cornfield and pumpkins, and on the back side is a gray, I really feel like it is gray, not brown, pattern. And then what I wanted to show, this is vanilla. The paper matches best with vanilla or beige or something. And you can see that I've colored these, and all this was stamped. So there also are dies, of course, to cut these out. I had a little bit of slippage here, but you can see that this is fairly neatly cut out. And I think I kind of wanted to show you this with, if we colored this and then just put our autumn wishes from the stamp set. I guess I should put that where you can see the autumn wishes, the thanks, the grateful for you are all part of this. There's also blessed to have you in my life, and you're simply the best, if those make sense for your recipient. But I was just kind of thinking here that that this is enough to almost just complete your card. You could add some of these guys, the streaked dots, that would add more depth to the card. And we also have early espresso. This comes with early espresso and our old olive thread or twine. I am not finding the end of this at all. Usually, well, we'll just do that. That will work. And I was just thinking that a little bow on here would bring the espresso back in again and make a cute look. And then these dots would kind of bring it all together as well. Let's see if you agree. And then I would just, what's funny about this is oaks, and typically oaks don't have as beautiful of a look as Stampin' Up! Has colored them, just green going to kind of a Cajun craze. So that would be kind of, look how nice that lays when it's kind of curly like that. You could just put that over to the side, cut the ends. Hold on just a second. That twine is so cute. And that is a very simple card. And you can tuck things in under it, before you put it down, or you can just lay it on the top, either one. But I think a little tuck in is super cute. And then another option, this one I did just in, I'm gonna try to lift this off. I did this just in pecan pie. And so what I was doing here, this covers the entire card front. It's the full size. So what I'm trying to say is you could do this one in the layer size, which is 5 1/4 by 4, or you could do this in the, basically larger by a 1/2 inch, or a quarter, half is all the way around, but kind of 1/4, and it's 4¼ by 5½, and then you've got this kind of all here, then something that maybe everyone's done this, I don't know, but I was just thinking you could cut these guys off pretty easy and kind of change the look of it a little bit, you know, make it be for different places. Like this one here, you can see what I'm talking about. They're just connected with little like bits of filigree. So I can just cut those off and then leave a whole leaf. Just give that a toss. And then I've got a center here that would look really nice with the Autumn Wishes in the center, making it the focal point. And Stampin' Up! Used this with Mossy Meadow or Old Olive behind it. So that would be another option here. You could put the Old Olive behind, and that gives it a little more contrast. And, you know, orange, of course, would be gorgeous. I'm using our pumpkin pie. But yeah, this just gives it kind of a nice look. And then you'd add these guys, maybe some more ribbon, and that would be a cute look also. So let me go ahead and put this back together so that at the end I can kind of show what I was going for there. There we go. And then I have a couple of fun folds for you. So I hope that you enjoyed those. The first fun fold is just hold on just a second, kind of a gatefold. Actually, it's like a faux gatefold that has been stretched. And I hope I can make this make sense, but it has been kind of moved over, I guess you would say, to where hold on, I want to show you a couple things here. Well, that one I was not going for. There we are. So instead of being scored at the full half, this is just scored at 1¼ So that makes it where the paper, the DSP that you mount on here is 1 inch wide, of course, by 5¼ And then it's the piece that you put under here that's like the perfect to lay on there is, I'm going to look it up because I don't want to be wrong, but yes, 2 3/4. So on the inside, you can also use a piece that's 2 3/4 and make that beautiful. Then I should have cut this and didn't, but you want it to be about the same size on the inside, you know, the piece that you write on, so that you can put this piece over here and make that into a little design. And my point here, I would put this, I did a bad job on this one, but putting this guy on the front with our thanks is a great way to complete this. Then I kind of want to talk about what's on the back of this. This is a fox print on the back of this stripe. So there are little foxes. There, you can see him right there. It's on Cajun Craze. So it's a very bright paper, but this back stripe is very pretty and very easy to use. So I don't think that it would be a waste at all. The stripe is very nice. And then the pumpkins, and then we've got on the inside the trees. That's where I was putting the nice trees. There is a stamp set that goes with these trees, so that if you are loving trees, that is a perfect one to get for you. And it has a die that cuts out a very intricate and nice tree. But I went for this particular batch of stamps and everything. I did want to talk about one other thing. When I did this, I used, let me try to show you here, a 4 inch wide piece of paper. So I cut off a 1/4 inch and used this as the front. And I could have, if I didn't care for these, I could have used this like this and put this in here from the trees. And I'll just kind of play with this before I finish the card and decide which one I like better, because this is really nice to have it kind of repeat. And if it, you know, if you could see this, you can't, but if you could see this, if it was this style card, you know, cutting it where it continues on is neat. But I still kind of like the way this looks as well, because it just, you know, goes from pumpkins to trees to pumpkins. And the back side of the pumpkins I've already talked about, but I haven't talked about the back side of the tree print, which is just an early espresso grid. This one is like a leaf stem print, probably early espresso on, not going gray, gray granite. And then this side, I wish I had kept a piece together, is the, these are actually like, they weren't, they were a strip that I cut off, but these are little pheasants and a little tree pattern that you'll see on the next card, and they're very pretty as well. So there's a lot of possibilities of how to put these patterns together, and any combination that you have. I think that these will all look pretty good together. The pumpkins and the trees are directional, but a lot of the things where you know, mesh the cut pieces together like this, it would still look like that as long as you kept the direction going for those. So just a really nice pattern and a really nice size, not too big, not too small. So I think that one will be fun to put together. Now this one I'm going to try to put together for you in a timely fashion. I have my trusty Stampin' Seal here. So my point here is the outside is the pumpkins, the inside, but with the pheasants and the trees and the kind of the scene there. And then this is cut. This is an 11-inch piece of paper that's scored basically as if you were making like a gatefold or something. You would, you know. So what's going to happen is it's going to pop up in the middle, and you're going to put these pieces in. Then you've got these guys, and I did 2 pumpkins and 2 trees to mount on the mossy meadow. This is going to go on here as well. I'm going to need to trim that just a little bit when I get it mounted on here. And then basically the card is going to kind of put itself together. I think you'll be able to see that in just a second. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on these. This is scored at, of course, 5.5, and then it's scored at 2 3/4, 2.75, so that it's half of 5.5, basically. Like that one might need to go this way. My scissors here, just take off that little tiny bit of edge there on the not bad. Okay, I gotta put these guys on. Right on in there, straight as I can. And then one thing about these, if you're going to have extra space, I think it looks best to have it in the middle because you can't really tell. So what I'm saying is the outer edge and the 2 sides are most important to get accurate. And then if you leave the space in the middle, it's not as obvious. Because, you know, of course you're expecting a fold and it's easy to make that look all right. Okay, that's pretty good. And then our front, I won't worry about the front necessarily because I won't I'm trying to focus on the center and what we're trying to do there. I do think this would look gorgeous with the, with this over it, and maybe take out even more of the leaves and be like you're looking into a scene. with the pumpkin in it. I think that would be real pretty. And if I was going to do that, I would probably cut this down to the smaller size, down to the 5 1/4 by 4-inch size, so that you can still see the green on the outside. That I'm sure makes sense. And that would be how I would finish that front part. Maybe with the, maybe put this in there. Who knows? You may not even need that. You may just need your little thanks on there, on the top of it, like this. Call that good. All right, so now for our action portion of this, I'm gonna take this and I saw a tutorial on this. I think it was, I don't remember who was doing it. I'm sorry now. I cannot remember. You can use either the liquid glue or tear tape or something. You just want to be sure that you let it get good and dry. You don't want it to be completely flat, so you don't want to get this all the way to the edge. So I feel like the Designer Series paper makes a nice place to put it straight against here on the sides. So you just want to put adhesive on these two folds up to that fold line there. Don't want it to go any further. I'll do that. Same here. Oops, I do want it to go to the end though. Okay, so what I was saying about that, let me kind of show you here. You want to get it in the center. So you can use this as a center and get it the same number of squares from the center line on your grid paper. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's going to have to go to a half. So that's about half. And then you're just going to center this on both sides of the line. So it's going to be 2 on one side, 2 blocks on one side, 2 blocks on the other side. It's that simple. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see, I don't know if that's it or not. Let me measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. There we go. And then we're just going to go back from that, and then we're going to center it on the line. On two squares on each side of the line. And then I've got those stuck down. So then there is your card mechanism. See there? And it just barely fits in there, but it does fit. And then on the inside, what you're going to do is put your little pumpkin and tree pieces. You can do them where both trees are in the center, or you can put your pumpkins, pumpkin tree. You could also only put 3 of these and make the final one be a piece of vanilla so that you can sign. But I just think that this really shows off this paper beautifully and gets you a cute little fun fold. Now, I have one other thing to talk about this that I think is a lot of fun. When you cut 2 card front sizes from 12, like when you cut 2 4 by 5 1/4 pieces, you're only taking 11, a little bit off of this. So you're going to have this left over at the end of your 12 by 12 piece of paper, this little bit here. So you can cut 2 of the sheaves of wheat and 2, I am not finding the other one. Okay, well, it's here somewhere. 2 of these little, oh, here it is because it's turned over. 2 of these little oak leaves. So I think it's beautiful to put them on the inside of your card here, like that. And then these are the centers. I wanted to talk about this as well. These are the centers of your oak leaf, just for the veining. But I really kind of feel like this makes a cute look too. So if you had a sentiment on the front, you know how we talked about putting the thank you on the front or whatever, you could put this, or maybe the autumn wishes, on here as well, and just kind of add a little, I feel like that's not necessarily trash. And with a small tipped glue adhesive thing like I have with this little gun, you could easily put that on there and make that super cute. Now we have some metallic dots and things like that that you can put in here as well. On the inside of card, I kind of hesitate because that can make your card kind of thick, so maybe you want to stick to the front on that. But I do think that adding this, and then if you had, you know, something with this maybe on the front, or if you just cut pieces of this out, or just had more of these pretty leaves added on the front, that really completes your card and makes it nice. Now, of course, you could also add some ribbons. Add these guys. They bring out the browns that are in the little, I call, you know, these are toile. And so I typically would call those little vignettes of the trees and the pumpkins, you know, in the field. So that makes it kind of focus on that, but then you can still see the overarching pheasants in the background. That would be perfect for a man's birthday card who is birthday in the fall, because you could put, you know, instead of this, you could put birthday wishes and have that on the front, and it would make a really nice card. But my point, I wanted to show you this is show you that, you know, don't waste this little bit that is left over. Always try to find something to use with that, maybe on the card that you're actually using it on in this case, because that's a thrifty thing to do, but it's also makes your card more beautiful here when you put some extra nice little details inside. So I'm excited to get these kind of put together for you and let you see where we're going with them. But I think that this is a lot of nice fun balls, and I will have a very hard time deciding which card I want to use for my classes. I mean, we had this one, and then we showed this with the center here with the, you know, we could put our sentiment there as well. And then we had this one with the beautiful little cards. You can choose what pretty little things you want to put together, which ones you like the best, kind of a thing. And then using these pretty toiles on this type card as well. And then we had the one where I colored everything using, instead of using the water-based things, I used the blends on this one. So that's very pretty. You know, of course, always thinking about, you know, I stamped these in water-based ink. So if you use the alcohol markers, that will be fine. If you stamp with this water-based ink, using the aqua painters could be a problem. You may want to use Stays On, or I think we still have the Saddle Brown. I think that would look beautiful with this. So, but you know, black isn't going to be that noticeable. I had stamped these with Early Espresso to make them match the paper here, and it looked almost black. So I went back in and used the pecan pie to do the rest of my stamping. Actually, this one has Cajun Craze, so it would be more orange. But there are so many nice colors in those earth tones that will look very nice. Or actually, I think they may be called Regal. But anyway, they are beautiful colors that will look great for fall. And I think there will be a lot of fun for you to play with this set with these gorgeous leaves. I appreciate you all watching, and I hope that you have a great and stampy weekend. Bye-bye.